welcome back to Mrs. Nixon's Math Corner. Today we are going to be talking about rounding decimals. And you should be on page 18 or just go to your next available page. Now, we've already talked about rounding and we kind of know the rules, but we're going to put them in our notes so that we can remember them. So the first thing we're going to do is step 1, find your place. That means find, if we're rounding to the tens place, you're going to find the tens place. If we're rounding to the hundreds, you're going to find the hundreds place. So once you find your place, you're going to underline it. And then you're going to look next door. And you're going to look next door, and that's where you're going to put your arrow. Our rules are 5 or greater, add one more, four or less, let it rest. Now once we decide if we're on 5 or greater or 4 or less, all digits in front stay the same. And all digits behind zero's their name. So let's practice that. For example, we are going to round to the nearest 10. We're going to be rounding 38 and 25 hundredths. So our first step was to find your place. We're looking for the tens place. I know this is my tens, my ones, this is my tenths, and that's my hundredths. So I found my place and underlined it. And now I'm going to look next door. So I'm going to look next door at my 5. So this 5 is going to tell me what to do. I need to decide if my 5 is on my 5 or greater or my 4 or less. My 5 is on my 5 or more. So I'm going to add one more. And we said all the digits in front stay the same. So I'm going to write my 3, my 8, and my decimal. And 5 or more, we decided we're going to add one more. So I'm going to add one more to my 2. My 2 turns into a 3 now. And all digits behind 0 is their name. So that means this digit right here is going to turn into a 0. And I'm going to mark that 0 out like that because I can keep the 0. I don't really need it. Let's try another example. We're going to round to the nearest hundreds. we're going to do 109 and 254 thousandths. So the first thing I need to do is find my place. This time I'm looking for the nearest hundredths, so I'm going to look for my hundredths place. I know this is my hundreds place. This is my tens, ones, this is my tenths, and here's my hundredths. So I found my place. Now I'm going to look next door at my 4. My 4 tells me what to do. My 4 fits in that 4 or less category. So 4 or less means to let it rest. That means this time my 5 is going to stay the same. All of my front numbers also stay the same. So I have my 1, my 0, my 9, my decimal, my 2, and we determined that my 5 is going to stay the same. And of course, everything after that, 0 is their name. And I don't really have to have that 0, but we can write it if we need to. Okay, I want you to go to the next page, so we're going to go to page 19. And you're going to practice some problems. So these first ones I want you to round to the nearest tenth. $25 and 76 hundredths. 141 and 9 hundredths. And 16 and 11 hundredths. I also want you to round to the nearest hundred. $101 and 165 thousandths. 14 and 109 thousandths. And 1 and 251 thousandths. Alright guys, come to class with any questions you may have. See you tomorrow. Have a good day.